Hey beauties, welcome back to my page. You're here with your girl Chambray, and today's DIY is going to be on how to make scrunchies. We all know that 80's vibe is coming back, so we gotta get with it. I don't like long intros, I've said it before, so let's not waste time. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now so you see more videos when I upload. So let's start with the things you need. So you're going to need some fabric. You're going to need your thread, contrasting thread, and your clips, pins, and needles, of course, to hold down whatever you're sewing together. The fabric that I'm using, if you'd watched my previous video, it's scrap fabric from when I made my bodysuits. So I couldn't even tell you the measurements, but yeah, so I'm using scrap fabric. The first scrunchie I'm going to make is going to be out of my nude snakeskin fabric. From the scrap fabric, I had a rectangular shaped piece left, so I'm going to use that to make my clip. So I measured out the length to be around 16 inches, and the height, you could I started off wanting it to be 6 and then ended up working up to 8. You'll see what I mean here. But yeah, so you want to cut out a rectangular shape. For the height, don't worry too much about it. It all depends on how wide you want the scrunchie to be. I mean, as you can see, I started with 6 and I worked to 8. But yeah, depending on how wide you want the scrunchie to be, this is going to be a wider scrunchie. So I used 8 inches, sorry. So here's how your rectangular shape should look. Then you're going to grab your clips. I purchased these clips from the dollar store. Make sure that the clips that you do purchase, they don't have those metal closures at the end. So as you can see, the end of this clip is actually burnt. Then I'm going to go in and just kind of clean up the pattern. I didn't mention as well, make sure the fabric is right sides facing each other. So here's what it looks like. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll still work. So now what you want to do is place your clip at the corner edges of the fabric. So pay attention here, I slow it down just so you can kind of see. With the two edges, right sides facing, touching each other, you want to go ahead and pin. Now you're going to do that exact same thing around the clip. So have the right sides facing each other and you're going to pin along around the clip. Hopefully I explained that clearly. If you don't get it, watch the video and I think you'll probably understand better. Okay, so again, you're going to do this all around the clip till you get to the end and you can't pin anymore. For some reason, I happen to have a little bit of excess fabric. I just went ahead and cut that piece off. So here's what it should look like, a nice, cute little donut. Anyways, you're going to take that to your sewing machine and you're going to sew all along the outside of the pinned fabric. Nothing fancy, just straight stitch all around. For those of you who don't know how to sew, thread up some needle and it's the exact same technique, just sew along the outside of the fabric. It will of course take a little longer, but yeah, if you don't know how to sew, thread a needle and sew it by hand. So here's the extra piece of hanging fabric that I was talking about earlier. I went ahead and cut that piece off. So here's what it should look like when it is sewn together. Now you want to go ahead and flip it inside of itself, making sure the right sides are now outwards. It's a lot easier just because this clip is wider, or the scrunchie is wider, sorry. If you happen to make a more thinner clip, of course, pass a needle through and flip it inside of itself. So the right sides are now out. So you're almost done with this version making of the scrunchie. Now what you want to do is you want to fold one side of the scrunchie, or your half made scrunchie I should say, and then take the other half and tuck it inside the folded part. I wanted you to see all of the struggles with making this. It sounds easier than it actually is. So here's where I kind of struggled on how to do it. Take your time when doing this part. So you're going to fold one side and tuck the other end in, and then you're going to just do a straight stitch down. I finally got it together, and now I'm just doing a straight stitch straight across. For those of you who aren't using a sewing machine to make it, sew it by hand, but try to do like a zigzag just so you don't see where thread starts and where it ends. There it is, how to make a scrunchie using a clip. This is my first method. I'm going to show you guys how to do it the second method. Okay, so now for the second method, I'm going to use my green snakeskin scrap fabric, but this time I'm going to use a 1/2 inch elastic. Now, the good thing about this is you can kind of make the clip as wide as you want to when you have this elastic. Again, I wanted to do a smaller clip, or a smaller scrunchie, sorry. So I do cut this in half. I didn't even actually measure it. I just kind of eyeballed how big I wanted the scrunchie to be. So just like the first method, you're going to still need a rectangular pattern. This is actually 12 inches long and 6 inches in height. Same thing from the first method, we're going to fold it over, right sides facing each other. The only difference is we're now going to take that piece and we're going to fold a straight stitch along the straight line. Now what you want to do is flip it inside of itself, making the right sides on the outside. Because it is a thinner scrunchie, I did use a pin to pass it through. Okay, so go grab your elastic now, and again I'm going to use that pin to pass the elastic through the shelling of the scrunchie. Part is pretty self-explanatory. Run the elastic through the tubing of what's going to be a scrunchie. And once you get it through, you're going to just connect the two end pieces of the elastic. I found that the elastic that I did use, or the piece that I cut, sorry, was still a bit longer than what I wanted the scrunchie to be. So then I just cut off that extra piece, and then you want to attach the two elastics together. To attach the elastics, I brought it to my sewing machine and did a straight stitch across. So now for the struggle part, again, you're going to fold one end and tuck the other side inside of itself. For some reason though, this one was a lot easier to fold and tuck it inside. I don't know if it's because it's a narrower clip, but whatever, it worked. And And there you have it, how to make a scrunchie. So I did 2 different methods, and I mean, you could turn that into 4 because there's fabric glue, needle and thread. So even if you're not a sewer, you can still make these scrunchies. I think it's fairly easy. Now, if you did like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for watching.